crunchy. Did you eat kimbap?
No.
No. Or Korean barbecue? Yeah, that's good. Or maybe you saw a famous idol? Yes. Have you been to another country before? No, just Taiwan? Okay. And what about you?
No.
No, okay. And you?
Japan.
Japan. And what did you like in Japan?
我想不到，问你，不是我去。Food.
Food. You like the food there. Good. Okay. And did you go anywhere? No? Okay, that's okay. What about you? No? Okay. Well, hopefully one day you guys get more opportunities to travel. It's very fun. So first I want to talk about Greece, because recently this has been a very popular country to go to. And in Taiwan there are a lot of hotels and restaurants that are using this Greek style, right? You see that a lot, especially in Kending. You see a lot of these style hotels and B&Bs. So it's a very interesting place to go to. I'll read very slowly and I'll explain everything, and then we'll talk about the vocabulary and the things you can do there. Okay? So, exploring Greece. Greece is the birthplace of Western civilization. The Olympic Games began in Greece. Democracy and modern medicine got their start in Greece too. Many of the words you'll read in this article come from the Greek language. A trip to Greece is a trip into centuries past. You'll have your fill of ancient art, architecture, history, and more. But Greece isn't just museums and historic sites. It's a place for fun and great food too. So there's a lot of things to do in Greece. It has very rich history. Okay, the history in Greece is very important because many things like medicine and ways of thinking, science, they all started in ancient Greece thousands and thousands of years ago. So they actually helped create the Western side of the world. And a lot of our Western ideas come from ancient Greece. So it has a lot of very rich history, beautiful buildings, beautiful country, lots of good food, so it's a good place to visit. Start your journey in Athens, Greece's capital and largest city. Here you'll see photo-famous sites like the Acropolis and the Theater of Dionysus. You can see more of Greece's preserved history at the National Archaeological Museum. From Athens, you can also go on several fun day trips. Take a tour to Delphi, or spend the day island hopping on a cruise. And be sure to visit one of Athens' interesting markets, such as Athens Central Market or Monastiraki Flea Market. Okay, so Athens is the capital city, the largest city in Greece. And a lot of important history happened in Athens, and there's a lot of beautiful buildings there from long, long ago. So if you see here, this building here is thousands and thousands of years old, and it's called the Acropolis. And the Acropolis a long time ago was used as a temple to worship Zeus and the gods, the Greek gods and goddesses. Are you familiar with the Greek mythology? Zeus and Hera and those? Have you heard before? Zeus, the god of lightning. Okay, so that's the part of their mythology. Okay, that was who they worshipped long ago. So they built beautiful temples for them. Here is the Theater of Dionysus. Dionysus is the name for the god of wine and dance and theater. Okay, so the Greek people believed this god liked to watch theater. And so they built many theaters for dancing and acting just for him, or in honor of him. So they have that. And then this is a very typical design that they use in Greece, is the blue and the white buildings on the cliffside. Okay, so they're very interesting. Another thing is they have the National Archaeological Museum. So whatever they find, dig from the earth, or find, they put into the museum so everybody can see. You can't touch, but you can see a lot of history there in the museum. And then they also have a flea market. Okay, Monastiraki Flea Market. A flea market is basically a market where you can buy different types of things like clothes, food, souvenirs, candy, all sorts of things at a very reasonable price. The US, we have flea markets. A lot of people will sell old things at flea markets, or they will make things and sell them at flea markets. So maybe they'll make homemade apple pie or something and sell it for a good price at a flea market. So that's what a flea market is. A little bit different than a normal market. Okay. Greece is not a small country, so it may be hard to decide what to do during your stay. Here are a few suggestions for some fun and popular activities. 1. Follow the path of the Apostle Paul. This important biblical figure toured Greece around 2,000 years ago. He made stops at Thessalonica, Philippi, and Corinth, to name a few. Okay, so Apostle Paul, so if you know Christian, do you know this? Christian, they have, let's see here. This. Okay, so one of the people in their Bible, okay, in the Bible, one man, he went around Greece and told people about being Christian. So he took a journey around Greece. And now, if you want to see Greece, you can follow where he went in the book. Okay, so he's kind of a famous person. The next thing you can do is go to the beach. Greece has more than 15,000 kilometers of coastline in total. There are plenty of beautiful white sand beaches with clear blue water to choose from. So Greece is right on the ocean and the sea. So you can go swimming and fishing, you can go snorkeling and scuba diving, maybe even surfing. So it's a very beautiful place to see if you're along the coastline. Where coastline is where the land meets the water. So right on that area, it's very beautiful. The next thing you can do is to check out a show. Greece is famous for its traditional theater, song, and dance. Dora Strato Dance Theater is a living museum that sits on the hill opposite the Acropolis. They put on daily performances during the summer in their garden theater. Okay, so it's just another theater you can see dancing and plays and performances that's very, very old. And then the next one, you can return to nature. If you go at the right time of year, you can help with the olive harvest. Get your hands dirty and learn about the production of this famous Greek food. Okay, so olives, they can be black or green, and they're about this big, and you can put it on a sandwich or in your spaghetti, or you can just eat it. So it's a round vegetable, about this big, and they grow it on a tree, and we use it to make olive oil. Okay, do you know olive oil or olive? Okay, so it's a type of very small vegetable. It can be green or black. It looks almost like a grape, I don't like it, but a lot of other people do. It kind of tastes like a mushroom a little bit. But here, if you go to Greece, because Greece is famous for natural olive oil, you can help them pick the olives off the trees for the harvest. And a harvest is a time when a fruit or a vegetable is ready to be picked and brought in before it gets cold or something else. So that's a harvest. So that would be interesting because olive oil from Greece is very famous. Experience Greek hospitality for yourself and skip the big city hotels. Instead, book your stay at a smaller location. Guest houses and B&Bs are often less expensive and just as nice. You'll get to know the owners and the neighborhood quickly. Places like these will bring you closer to the Greek community, and you'll save a lot of money. Okay, so they say don't stay at a big fancy hotel when you go to Greece. Stay at somebody's house or a small B&B or maybe even a hostel, and you'll feel closer to Greece that way. You'll have more interesting experiences. If you stay at a really nice hotel, you're kind of away from that feeling of, I'm in Greece. Okay, if you're at a nice hotel, you're like, it's so-so. So by staying at a B&B or a hostel, you can feel closer to Greece. And it's not as expensive, of course. Don't forget to clean your plate. Greek food is full of flavor, and it's healthy. Greece is known for its delicious olives, cheeses, and honey, to name only a few. Order signature dishes like moussaka and spanakopita, with a Greek salad topped with fresh tomatoes and feta. Then try some baklava for a dessert. You'll probably want seconds of everything. So moussaka, spanakopita, and baklava and feta cheese are very, very famous traditional dishes in Greece. And my old town, we had a Greek restaurant that made really good spanakopita and baklava. Spanakopita, it's this is what spanakopita looks like here. This is spanakopita, and this is baklava. I've had both of these, and both of these are really good. This is spanakopita and baklava. So spanakopita is like on the top and the bottom is like a bread or a pastry, and then inside is spinach, kind of like a green salad thing, and cheese, and I think that's about it. Just spinach and feta cheese. But it's so good. So good. Every time I eat it, I just want more. But it's a little expensive because we have to bring it to the US. So it can get a little expensive. Baklava is sweet. It's like a sweet dessert. Inside is honey, nuts, and I think brown sugar. So it's very sweet. But anything from Greece tastes really good. Their food is really good. And their seafood is good too, because they live right on the ocean. So they have very famous food there. Art, history, nature, food, Greece has it all. You'll leave this beautiful and ancient country with lots of good memories. Make sure to send some postcards before you leave. Your friends will want to hear all about your trip. So, as you can see, it's a very beautiful country. That view is just amazing. And for me, I really like history. So for me, going to Greece would be awesome because there's so much history there. And in school, I like to study about Greek buildings and art. So it's a very beautiful country. And the people there are very, very nice. I've never been there, but I've met people from Greece. And they're all very kind people. They almost treat you like a family member. So that's very interesting. They do that in Italy as well. Italy and Spain, people are all very friendly in that area. So it's a nice place to visit. Okay, so let's look at the vocabulary. Olympic Games. So are you all aware of the Olympics? Olympic. So yeah, there's running and throwing things and swimming and almost everything. They have almost everything. They have ping pong and soccer and kayaking and volleyball, everything. Okay? This started in Greece. Okay? Greece made the Olympic Games. And at first, only men could compete before. Only men could compete in the Olympic Games, and they were actually a little dangerous at the beginning because men like to fight, so it got a little out of hand. But they had very interesting things. They had the marathon, and a marathon is running around and you have to pass, or no, that's a relay race. Okay, a marathon where you have to run around and around and around. And the relay race is where you run around once and then you pass something like this to your teammate. And your teammate grabs it and runs. So they created all those types of races. Democracy is a type of government where the people can vote for what they want. Okay? That started in Greece. That type of government started in Greece. So the US is a democracy. Taiwan is a democracy because you can vote, right? You can vote for your president. So that idea where people can have a say in the government started in Greece. So in Greece, they used to have a group of men, all elder men or very smart men, that would sit around and talk about, okay, what should happen to Greece? And they'd say, oh, we could do this or this, and everybody would vote on what should happen instead of having a king or anything like that. Because Greece used to have kings and queens and such. Architecture is buildings. Okay, so Greek architecture, if you look back here, this architecture is really famous. Okay, so their architecture like this. Some people will copy Greek architecture, okay, but they have the long pillars and then the stones. Very interesting architecture. A museum is a place where things can be kept and where people can go in and look at the things. So, and there's art museums where you can look at art, but you can't touch it. There's natural history museums where we look at animals and plants. And there's archaeological, it's a big word, archaeological museums where you can see things from long, long ago. One of my favorite places I went was the New York Museum. And they had King Tut from Egypt, the mummy, inside, which was really cool because you could like see really close. And the mummy is like thousands and thousands of years old. So you feel like you're really close with history. So I like that feeling. Preserve means to keep something from falling apart. For example, we preserve fruits and vegetables so they don't go bad. Like we have, we put like pickles and tofu into a jar, a glass jar, and then we preserve them so they don't go bad. And you have to open it and then put it in the refrigerator, otherwise it will get icky. You can preserve history by keeping it safe, okay, not letting anybody touch it. You can preserve something by maybe putting it in something else, okay? But here we're talking about preserving history. So Greece has a lot of buildings and art and culture that we have to keep safe and keep going. Archaeology is the study of ancient artifacts. So maybe an ancient spoon from 5,000 years ago, or if you find a hairbrush from 10,000 years ago, okay, we can study that and learn more about the people and the land before that time. We can study buildings, small things, even jars and plates, okay, anything that's from the past we can study in archaeology. Cruise is when we take a boat to see different places. Okay, it's a special type of boat. Usually they have dinner or lunch or breakfast. Sometimes you can sleep on the boat. Sometimes it's just to see one place for 1 hour. And some cruises can be maybe a week. So one time my family and we took a 2-week cruise to Alaska. So we got on a really, really big boat. It had like 7 levels. And there were tons of things we could do. And we stopped at different places around Alaska and Canada and got off the boat and then got on the boat. Okay, so it's a very interesting way to tour places. Coastline, like I said, is where the land meets the water. Okay, so that line. So Taiwan, around us, is all coastline. Okay, because Taiwan is an island. If you live in the U.S., we have the West Coast and the East Coast. Okay, so we have 2 coastlines. Okay, theater is a place for singing, dancing, and performing, like acting. Okay. Olive, like I said, is that little vegetable that grows on trees. Okay, and it can be black or green. And some people like to just eat it. Some people like to cook it in something, put it on a pizza or a sandwich. Okay, but it's also can be used to make oil, very healthy oil. A harvest is when a fruit or vegetable or a plant is ready to be cut or taken down to be brought in, okay, for the winter or because it's just ready. Hospitality is the way you treat your guests. So if someone comes to your house, how do you treat them? Do you take their coat and their shoes and say, oh, would you like to drink something? Are you comfortable? Okay, that's good hospitality. So the people in Greece have very good hospitality. They're very kind and open and welcome, and they always welcome anybody to their homes. Signature, okay, means 2 things. The first thing is when you sign a paper. Okay, that's your signature. The second means traditional. Okay, a signature meal, a signature building, okay, or a signature dance. That means traditional, something that is part of a culture. So if I make a signature American pizza, I'll make a very traditional American pizza. That's what we're famous for. Not exactly, but you get the idea. Okay? So all these places were what they were talking about in the article. Okay, so Greece. Okay? Greece is in Europe, right? Okay. And Greece has been in the news lately, right? They've been talking about the people from Syria going to Greece. The people in Greece take them up, okay, and they go out through Europe. Well, Greece, its most famous and biggest city is Athens. Athens, Greece. And it's named after the goddess, Athena. Okay, Athena was the goddess of wisdom and war. Okay, so it's named after her. The Acropolis, okay, is one of those buildings like that one in the back there, where they had statues of a god or goddess, and they would pray or worship them in that place. Theater of Dionysus was a place of singing and dancing and performing for the god Dionysus. The National Archaeological Museum is where you can see thousands and thousands of things from thousands and thousands of years ago, but you can't touch them, of course. That would be bad. Delphi has many buildings that are very interesting and were preserved, okay? Preserved so they don't fall apart as quickly. And then the Monastiraki flea market, like I said, is where you can buy handmade goods, food, clothes, shoes, really anything at a very decent price. Any questions? Some of you may be like, what is she talking about? That's okay, this is just for fun, okay? If you guys have any questions while we're doing this, just let me know. Or if you have to use the bathroom or get a drink of water, let me know. Don't be shy, okay? I don't want you sitting there and be like, I gotta go. Okay. Alright, so